Hi, fourth grade. So this is going to be your reading intro video for the week. So we're going to go over all of the different skills that we're going to be learning this week and next week in reading. Last week you guys had your genre of expository text where we had nonfiction texts where you learned about certain topics like earthquakes. This week, we are moving into realistic fiction. So before we get into exactly what realistic fiction is, I'm going to go over all of our different topics for the week. So let's start with our big idea. Our big idea is how can a challenge bring out our best? So each story that we are going to read and that you guys will read and do work on is going to be about a challenge that your main character is facing and how they get resolved. Your essential question for the week is how do your actions affect others? So you guys are going to answer a question on Google Classroom about what you think it means for actions to speak louder than words. That's a saying, what you think that saying means. So think about your actions and how they're affecting others and how that saying might go along with that. Our skill for the week is problem and solution. So like I said, each work that we're going to read is going to have a problem and solution where the main character is trying to find the solution to a problem that they are facing. When we look at our vocabulary strategies, we're going to be looking at homophones, which are words that have the same sound but different meaning, and then idioms. An idiom is a phrase that has a different meaning than what is being said. So, for example, if I said it's raining cats and dogs outside, it's not really raining cats and dogs outside. There's not cats and dogs falling from the sky, but actually it just means that it's raining a lot. So those are idioms, which you guys are going to learn about later in the week. That we also have our vocabulary words here on this page. So we went through these. If you haven't, or you'll watch the video tomorrow about your vocabulary words. So our vocab words are accountable, advise, desperately, hesitated, humiliated, inspiration, self-esteem, and uncomfortably. And this will give you some definitions for those. And then also our spelling words, which are long E. So let's get into realistic fiction. So what is realistic fiction? When you say realistic fiction, fiction is supposed to be fake, so how can it be real? So realistic fiction is a story that is made up, so it is fiction, it is fake, but it's something that could happen in real life. So it's got real life details. It's not like a fairy tale where there's dragons and there's talking animals. This is something that could actually happen in real life. All events in realistic fiction could happen in real life. So what makes realistic fiction is it includes character whose behaviors are realistic. The places where the characters live and visit, which is the setting, could be real places, and it includes events and problems that could be in real life. So an example of these are Winn-Dixie, which we are reading, and also Tales of Fourth Grade Nothing. All of the events that happen in both of these books are realistic, and they could happen to you in real life. There are also 5 different characteristics of realistic fiction that will be in every single realistic fiction. So the first one is characters. Sorry for the little pause there. So the first characteristic of realistic fictions are the characters. The characters are all human. They're all believable. They all behave and use dialogue in a way that makes them seem real. So dialogue, we will talk later about in the week, but dialogue is talking back and forth. So all of the characters are talking to each other. You are you're seeing that conversation that's happening. All of the characters are real. They're not animals. They're not talking animals. They're not made up creatures. They're all real and things that resemble you and I. Also, there is setting. The setting is realistic and believable as well. So this may be a real or made up place, but it seems familiar to us. It could be a place where we might live. So it's not some faraway kingdom or on the sun. It's a real setting. Events are also believable. They're usually centered on the main characters trying to find a problem or trying to find the solution to resolve the problem. And then there's a problem and solution. The problems are similar to issues that we face in real life, so it could be issues that we have, and there are realistic solutions to each problem that help drive the plot. So, for example, in Tales of Fourth Grade Nothing, the problem, the whole book is fudge. Peter is just sick and tired of all of Fudge's games and all of his issues that he has, and that is Peter's problem, and he's trying to find a solution to that the entire book. There's also theme. A theme is the message that the author wants the audience to understand, and it's relatable. So it's something that the author wants to teach you and that is relatable to your own life. In a realistic fiction story, there's always has these 5 things. So it always starts with background knowledge, where you get to know the characters, you learn about the setting, you are introduced to everything. Then it goes into what's called rising action. It's the events that lead up to the main problem. So all of the events leading up to the problem. The top of this story mountain is the climax. This is where we find out the main problem, and this is where the biggest action happens and that changes the course of the story. It's usually the most exciting part of the book. After that, we have falling action. So this is when the problem begins to be solved, and then solution and conclusion. It's when this problem is solved and the main character ends their story. So in all of the stories that you guys are going to be reading, it will follow this kind of story mountain. So be on the lookout for that. So what you guys are going to do is you're going to be looking for those different characteristics throughout every story that you read. A lot of the things that you're going to be doing this week are just going to be different passages and answering questions about those passages and how they are realistic fiction. So be sure to be on the lookout for characters, for the setting, for the plot, for the problem and solution. Those are all super important aspects of realistic. So as we talked about earlier, your essential question for the week is, how do your actions affect others? So you guys need to think about the things that you do, the things that you say, the things that you might even think. They do affect others. So this is a big issue for not only younger people, but also older people. So you have to think about what you are doing and how it can affect others, whether this be in a positive way or in a negative way. So we're going to watch the introduction video to kind of show you guys a little bit about this. So here is that video.
How do your actions affect others? You may not realize it, but your actions can have a great effect on others. By not making room for her, these girls make the other girl feel embarrassed and uncomfortable. However, these girls make room for this girl to sit down. Because of their actions, she feels accepted and is happy.
So after you watch that video, how did that make you feel? I know me watching that makes me feel upset for that girl who was not allowed to sit at the table. But then also you see the other side of it when you do allow somebody to sit with you. Maybe you guys aren't best friends, but giving them a spot made the second girl really happy. So as we are reading and as you are going through this week, I want you to really think about what you're doing and what you're saying and how it's affecting other people. Right now, we're going through some hard times with just everything that's going on in the world. So making sure that you are being as positive and as nice and as aware of your actions as possible would be great for this time. So as you read the stories, I want you to also think about how the story characters' actions affect everybody else in the story. If you guys have any questions, just let us know. Have a good week, 4th grade.